Did you know that your vehicle might actually be too short to safely tow something? Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV with a safety tip for you here today. There's all this talk all the time about like, what is your tow rating? It seems like if you're wanting to purchase a towable RV, the number one question is always, what's your tow rating? If they even bother asking you that at all. If they don't even bother asking you what's your tow rating, then just get away from them because they flat don't care about your safety. But if you really know a little bit more about towing, you know that typically you will exhaust your vehicle's payload rating before you exhaust your tow rating. And if you don't know the difference between those things, make sure you check out this little companion video that I've recorded previously to help you better understand what you actually can tow. But in that video, there's something I didn't cover, and there's a third metric here that seems like no one really seems to talk a lot about it, and that is how the wheelbase of your vehicle fights against the length of the camper. And basically, you can have a vehicle rated for all kinds of towing or payload weight, but if the trailer's too long, it might push you all over the road, leave you in a really sketchy, unsafe situation. If you are towing a short length trailer and it pivots, let's say 6 degrees off central axis, that's going to try to push the back of your vehicle sideways a little bit, which introduces sway, the tail wagging the dog. Now, instead of, say, a 20-foot trailer, let's say we have a 35-foot trailer, and it pivots that same 6 degrees off axis. Because the trailer is so much longer, the radial distance that is moving is so much greater that it pushes the back of your vehicle far, far further. And the shorter the wheelbase of your vehicle, the more easily it gets pivoted. Here's kind of a funny thing. The tighter your turning radius, the worse your towing control. So if you have a vehicle that can very easily pull into those like Walmart parking lot spots, it's going to be a vehicle that won't have as much control as like a big long truck where you have to make a big football field swing. The trucks that require a really big long swing are the ones that are going to have more control when a trailer is behind them. So if you look way in the distance over there, I got the almighty Mav, my little Nerdmobile Maverick over there. Tiny vehicle, lightweight, obviously not heavy tow ratings on that thing, but it'll get pushed around more easily. Now this truck over here, it's more of a full-size pickup. It has some other factors such as it physically weighs more, which helps. We'll talk a little bit more about control factors later, but it's a longer wheelbase still. And then if we take a look over here, one of the things that you'll see is actually a local RV transport driver. He has a long bed, quad cab, crazy long vehicle, and that organically gives them the ability to control bigger, longer trailers safely when going down the road. So how long of a trailer can you actually tow? Thankfully, there are some guidelines to this, some mathematical guidelines that you can employ from the comfort of your couch, basically, while you're doing some RV shopping to help you zero in on and focus on the size of RVs that might work best for you. But it kind of begins with the sort of 1:10:20 ratio. So for, let's say you start with a 110-inch wheelbase on your vehicle, that's basically going to pretty safely handle a 20-foot trailer. Now, 110-inch wheelbase is a pretty small vehicle, and 20-foot trailer, also pretty small trailer. So small makes sense. From there, for every 4 inches of wheelbase you add to the vehicle, you can safely add a foot of length to the RV and basically keep everything under reasonable, complete control. Now, a couple examples of this to help see how the math plays out. Let's say you have a 130-inch wheelbase vehicle. That translates into like a 25-foot trailer. If you had a 150-inch wheelbase vehicle, that's about a 28-foot trailer. But the thing is, unlike tow rating and payload rating, where it's like you hit a mark and you go in the red and you're just not legal here, there aren't specific hard legal rules behind this. It's a little bit more of a liquid concept, because what this doesn't mean is the moment you exceed this mark, you are now completely out of control and going to die. That's not the case. That is the point where you will begin to notice a progressive decrease in control, especially at higher speeds or in windy scenarios, or if you're going down a heavy incline, like coming down a mountain. We like to talk a lot about going up mountains with your tow rating, but controlling it going down the mountain, frankly, can be just as scary, maybe more so, frankly. I've always had a little more of an interesting road trip situation going down mountains versus going up them, even when towing something. But what can I say here? Basically, if the math works out, where you've got that 150-inch wheelbase, and that says, okay, well, that's 28 feet, and you want to look at a 30-foot trailer, you probably won't notice a great decrease there. But if you have that shorter wheelbase and you're looking at a 35-foot vehicle, you're going to feel like that thing is shoving you all over the road. The trick is, it's very subjective. So it's all a matter of what feels comfortable to you. And the trick with that is you don't really know how that's going to play out until you're already out there with it. That's why I wanted to try to give you the advance notice wherever I could. This is also reason number 37 why the question, can my half-ton tow this, is just not a good question to ask. It seems like a simple, direct question to ask, but no vehicle varies more in its capacities than a half-ton. Just in terms of wheelbase, not even looking at towing and payload ratings, just in terms of wheelbase, half-tons can run anywhere from roughly 122 inches to like 158 inches, give or take. That's a very significant difference between the cab size, the bed length, and a bunch of other little factors right there that could very quickly change your towing control and comfort, not even getting into the tow rating and payload capacity discussions. Half-tons just have such a wide range of options that you really need the details on your specific truck so that we can match it up to a specific trailer that you might be looking at. This is also the reason some SUVs can get themselves in a funny spot. There are some SUVs that have like very capable motors and suspension packages and stuff like that, but actually still have a pretty short wheelbase. And again, if you think about it this way, the tighter your turning radius, the lesser your trailer control when you're going down the road. So a lot of SUVs are made for more daily driving comfort. They're made to get into those grocery shopping parking spots, which means they're not as well suited for towing a long trailer. And where this gets really tricky is when you start getting into the lighter weight laminated trailers made with the kind of space age lightweight Asdel type materials and aluminums and stuff like that. The thing there is a laminated lightweight RV can give you more length for less weight. And it doesn't matter that it weighs less, the fact that it is long still sometimes allows it to push the vehicle around more easily. This is also one of the reasons why a lot of people will find far more comfort towing with a 3/4 ton or 1 ton pickup than a half ton, not only because the capabilities of it are obviously superior in terms of the mathematical numbers, but the physical curb weight of those 3/4 ton and 1 ton vehicles. They physically weigh more on a scale, and the heavier the truck, the harder it is to push it around if you don't want it to move. Now, along with curb weight, there's a couple other control factors that you might consider. There are things, of course, like anti-sway hitching. There's vehicle electronic anti-sway, and we are finally starting to see more and more RV brake system electronic anti-sway. All of these things can help you keep going on the straight and narrow. And basically, the more factors you have in your control pile, the better equipped you're going to be to keep that trailer under control. So if you're just towing 20 minutes across town to a seasonal site and you only move the trailer once, twice a year, maybe you don't need any fancy braking. Maybe you go with a little bit longer trailer than you would normally ideally want to look at. But if you're going to be going cross country, you want to do a lot of high mile towing. You're going to tow through high wind zones, wind corridors. You're going to go up and down mountains. You're going to want to keep the vehicle heavier, the vehicle longer, the trailer shorter, and with better braking and suspension systems to keep that sucker behind you where it's supposed to be. So with that, I'm gonna wrap this up. I know I'm nerdy and I'm often too wordy, so I'm trying to stay a little more concise and to the point on these where my squirrel brain allows me. If you found this useful today, leave me a little note that says thanks, hit the little like button on the video, maybe share it in like a Facebook group where someone has a towing question or something like that, like, oh, hey man, I never thought about this, maybe this would help somebody else. Or if you're not like totally clear on this, leave me a comment. Maybe I can explain it in a different way down there that'll kind of help make a little bit more sense of it. And if nothing else, if you appreciate what we're doing, with the goal of doing nothing but keeping people safe, because if you think about it, this video recommends people purchase smaller RVs than they may have otherwise thought about. And from a dealership perspective, smaller typically means less profitable. That's not the point of this video. Generating the dollars isn't the point. Keeping you out of the emergency room or worse, that's the point. And I don't care if you bought from us or not, safety absolutely should always come first. So, until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.